I was young and in love. I gave him everything, but it wasn't good enough. And now you wanna communicate. You know what to do. Going by someone else. I'm letting you go. I'm loving myself. You got a problem, but don't come asking me for help. 'Cause you know it's just a little too late, a little too wrong. And I can't wait for you know all the right things to say. You know it's just a little too late. You say you turn on my face, but you don't like me. You just like to change. To be real, it doesn't matter anyway. You know it's just a little too late. I care with all of my heart, baby. I know I have so much to give. With a girl like you, I don't have a breath. That's the way to live. No, it's just too little, too late.
Baby, that was my motherfucking shit in high school. Shout out to the little saltine hoe JoJo, honey. JoJo had some hits, honey. It's a little too late. Get out, leave right now, baby. Let me tell y'all something. I had love when I was growing up. I was such a lover of music. That's probably because of the household that I came up in. My stepdad, he was in a band. He wrote music. He produced music. He traveled. My mom was a lover of music. So music was a big part of my upbringing, okay? My parents used to have this big ass like stereo system, and it would rock the entire fucking neighborhood. I think that's where my love for bass comes in at, baby. I need that thump. I need that bump. I need that earthquaking beneath my feet. And when I got to high school, that's when I really came out of my eclectic closet. And it was reflected in my style. Like I was dressed like the emo kids, punk rock, urban, and all of that was influenced by music. I loved pop music, rap, contemporary, gospel. I love cinematic music, man. I just was a lover of music. Like music for me was like God in the form of sound. Literally, like music has been like a sanctuary. That's why I got those two treble clefs tattooed on my forearms in my dedication and tribute to music, because I really feel like music was a ministry for me, and I don't know where I would have been growing up at times as a young super empath had I not had music in my life to encourage me, to inform me, to inspire me, to compel me, man. And I'm still a lover of music to this day. Music has to be hands down one of the greatest things that's ever happened to the earth. One of the greatest pieces of art and capabilities that has been given to humanity. It's one of the only things that has kind of a universal appeal and a universal impact on all people, regardless of culture, language, distance, etc. Yeah, music is everything. But JoJo, that is my biatch. Anyway, Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, you guys. So because having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful work week. We're in the middle of the work week. We are only 2 days from Miss TGIF, and I know a lot of y'all are ready, baby, to get free from the plantation and to be able to go out and enjoy life for what it is, just that life. But you guys already know what we're here to get into. So before we do so, go ahead and run those likes all the way up. Thumbs up, up the video. Thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers the YouTube notification system. So when you are liking the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. Also, if you enjoy everything that Kane does here, you can always donate to the platform at $ConsciouzTv on Cash App and or paypal.me/ConsciouzTV. And that's conscious with the Z on the end, spelled just how it is here on the platform. Make sure that you guys have your notification bell set to all, so that you never miss a day or hour when the King is in fact king. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side, the Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're out live and in color. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's ConsciouzTv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's ConsciouzTv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let me sound off and do roll call with the old nasty piece of conscious crew. What's going on, Miss Bruno, baby? It is so fireland and fun facts about you. I might do a fun fact video. People would be very surprised at a lot of the things regarding me. I may do that video. That video would be hella crazy because I know that's going to be shocking. I know that a lot of people are going to have their expectations like, girl, what? This is not what I would expect from you. So I may do a fun facts about CTV video. Thank you for that, Ms. Bruno. And sorry for the bass. I didn't realize I had y'all on surround sound. So that music was coming through my sound system in my home instead of through the computer. So if that blew out the headphones, my bad. What's going on, Coach Leslie? Hey, love to you, Kang. I'll catch the replay. Flying out now. Okay, boo, and safe travels. Hey, my baby mother queen, B More. What's going on, Lady D? Hey, boo. Hey, Sin. Hey, love. What's going on, Deanna? Hey, everybody. What's going on, Londi? Hey, love. Hey, Sherry. What's going on, Just Being Desha? What's going on, Nurse Moonshot? Hey, boo. Hey, Sonja. What's going on, Tamara? Now it's time for change. B. Hey, oh, look, I'm going to let y'all talk to me about it. What's going on, Jay Vicious? I owe you a phone call, boo. I'm going to call you today, sir, okay? So stay by your phone. I'm going to call you today. What's going on, Janie? Hey. What's going on, Katie Perry, who says, I'm loving this from the thumbnail. This is it. The season of manifestation. My God, today. What's going on, Miss Mika? Hey, y'all. Hey, Michelle. What's going on, Matthias? Hey, Cha. What's going on, Alex? Hey, make it happen. Hey, boo. Hey, happy hump day, everyone. Hey, Teresa. What's going on, Platinum 2K? Hey, my room is in T. Hey, boo. Hey, Lakita. What's going on? Hey, y'all. All right, so let me get into it. I don't really want to keep y'all here for a long time, but for a very informed time. And shout out to everybody who, baby, y'all loved my conversation about Funky Dineva and EJ and quote-unquote dating straight men, because y'all know we roasted, we gagged, but we also got into a lot of actual information regarding that subject matter. And a lot of my straights, girl, was really showing me mad love because y'all really felt informed and enlightened. And that's always my wishes, especially when it comes to talking about particular subject matters And then having to talk about them from an academic standpoint is, you know, one's ability to communicate that information in a way that's practical, in a way that's comprehensive. So the fact that so many people had learned so much and it expanded their awareness is really freaking amazing. That's exactly what I love to do with my platform. And I'm just so happy that I was able to use a pop culture trendy moment and turn it into something that could also expand the conversations, particularly around the spectrum of sexuality and how nuanced sexuality is. So shout out to you guys, and thank you guys for the feedback. The feedback is really important to me because it helps me to know where I am in terms of my ability to relay a message and to convey a message. And I'm always looking to improve my ability to communicate. So thank you all so much. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. That video is at what, 10K now? It was at 10K by the end of the night. I was like, baby, the people really got their whole life. We travel, honey. We had fun in our conversation. We got nasty in our conversation. We got sweaty and funky in our conversation. And we got educational and got real about it. So dope conversation. So shout out to my baby mother, Janetta, for the old nasty piece of child support check. Says for, hey, beautiful, just a little something. Thank you so much, baby mother. God bless you on this old nasty piece of hump day. I love you down boots. And you guys know, once again, all donation information is in the description box below, as well as at the bottom of the screen on the ticker, going from right to left in red and white. Yes, you educated the hell out of me on period. All right. So, you know, we do have an influx of supporters over here. You guys know we're not sponsored. We don't even do no damn collaborations, but yet we be growing. So shout out to the algorithm for algorithming, because we've been growing. We're now at 55.1. We are like, what, 10 subscribers away from 55.2. So hello. So we have new people over here. So for those of you who don't know a lot about my story, I've shared this experience. I shared this experience recently, actually, back in January. I had a very emotional live stream where I spoke about a particular event that took place between me and my biological family. Before I did that live stream, I had casually, throughout the past few years, kind of gone into this situation, expounded upon it, detailed it, just to kind of relate to other people and also kind of drop some wisdom to other people who may be in complicated situations with their biological family. So to make a long story short, because I'm not going to go through every single detail and motion, I'm just kind of want to bring you guys into what has happened, like as in over the past 4 days, because you guys have seen me. I haven't been active on social media. We haven't done no live streams and no commentary in the past 3-4 days. And that's because I've been with my biological family. And I want to talk about it. And I want to get you guys' thoughts about it, okay? So, to go back to the beginning, I was raised up in a huge family. My grandparents had a lot of children. My grandma alone had 12 kids, and then my grandfather also had children that he had produced outside of her marriage. So big family, lots of uncles, lots of aunties, lots of cousins. All the aunts and uncles had children for the most part. And so I came up in a big family. And my family mostly survived because we had such a big family and we were socialized to be very close. So everybody grew up with each other. The aunts acted as substitute parents for their nieces and nephews. You know, people paid each other's bills. There was constant intersection. I mean, you know, we operated as a full-blown tribe. Now, my family was not perfect, baby. It was nothing perfect about my family. But the one thing that we had down was togetherness. But it was also messy because there is a lot of childhood trauma that my uncles and aunts had endured. My grandparents had also endured their fair share of trauma as well that bled over into their style of parenting, that bled into the way that my uncles and aunts were raised and experienced them. And some of even how my uncles and aunts experienced my grandparents slightly bled over also into the way that we were socialized and how we experienced them. Even though what I can say is by the time like my mama's generation happened, aka my aunts and uncles, you know, her siblings, they all were really trying to do it very differently from their children. I mean, from their parents. They were being very intentional about trying to break the cycle, trying to deviate away from some things that they had deemed to be negative and things that they didn't find suitable as it relates to the type of dynamics that they wanted to have with their kids versus the type of dynamics they had with their parents. So a prime example of that was like my grandparents, particularly my grandfather, was very closed off. He kind of was raised in a very patriarchal he was raised in a very patriarchal, male-centered social system. And so did my grandma. She came up in the era of mammies. So, you know, there was a lot of job disparity when it came to women. There was a lot of inequality when it came to women. And so women largely had to depend on men for financial and structural support. And sometimes this put women in a position to incubate themselves and their children into a situation with a man who was providing that structure and that financial support, but who also was abusive. And so two things existed at once a lot of times when it came to the men from that generation. While they were providers and they could be relied upon in as it relates to the structure and their finances, it also came with the side effects of the psychology of that day, that men ruled and that women were to be quiet and to stay in their motherfucking place. And it also came with the side effect of dealing with all of the undealt with trauma that Black men were not clearing up, nor were confronting within themselves as it related to the abuse they experienced, as it relates to the sexual abuse they experienced, as it relates to the way they were abandoned and neglected and molded into workhorses and ultimately kind of emasculated from their emotional bodies. So a lot of Black men, they carried their frustrations, they carried their trauma, and it came through in their emotional unavailability. It came through in their stoicism. It came through in them being so emotionally distant, oftentimes resulting in them just being a goddamn body in a house, which is why a lot of people from that generation too, they talk about how like their daddies were just there, but they never felt they knew their father. They never felt like their fathers were present per se. He was in the house, but he wasn't available emotionally and spiritually. So my grandma endured a lot, and my aunts and uncles and my mom endured a lot. It never caused them to not love their parents, but it does not negate the fact that harm for certain happened to my aunts and uncles. Some of it was intentional, and it was due to the way that people were taught to be and how they were taught to discipline and what discipline looked like for people of that era, what male and female looked like in that era. And some of it was, of course, unconscious and just not knowing any goddamn better and was the result of trauma. So my family had all of the makings of like Cosby and Love and Hip Hop all at the same time. Like we were a good looking family. I got all my beautiful bone structure and cheekbones from all of the Blackfoot Indians and Cherokees in my family. My grandmother is a dark, beautiful chocolate woman who had this long waist length hair. Her grandma was, a full-fledged Blackfoot Indian. Most of my grandfather's side of the family is mixed with African American, Indian heritage and lineage, etc. So the spirituality in my family was very interesting as well. It was kind of more so like Christian and Christian mysticism. So I say all that to say that my childhood was great. I always thank my parents for giving me such a legendary and an iconic ass childhood. Like I have some of the best memories a human can have from being a child. I mean, big birthdays, big Christmases. My parents kept us well dressed, well fed. And we were really being set up to be successful. And my parents took a lot of pride in me and my brother. And that was shown through the way we carried ourselves and our aesthetic and just how we presented. And nobody in my family was really ever without, because the family was so huge and everybody really was into being super supportive. So that's what I knew of my family. Now, as I got older and I became a preteen and I entered into my teenage years, I began to find out regarding the dark side of the fucking moon. I began to find out a lot of my family's history. I began to find out a lot of the secrets and a lot of the unspoken truths that were in the underbelly of my family unit. And then by the time I became an adult, I started to see a lot of that stuff kind of bleed into the family's experience of each other. It explained why certain people struggled to get along. It explained why, even in our best attempts sometimes to come together, be peaceful, and just enjoy each other, while there would be a disruption and a obstruction. And it was because there was a lot of hurt that had gone unaccounted for, that had gone unconfronted, that had gone unloved and unlooked at and unresolved. And, you know, it would poke its head up like a groundhog. Fast forward, despite all of like the dark shit that also came with my family, we ultimately were still a family. We banded together. We had each other's backs for better or for worse. This is also why I show up in my own life for family and friends, for better or for worse. I can be in complete and utter breakdown with somebody and still be supportive, because that's what I know. And that's what was demonstrated to me as it relates to love. So I don't allow, and haven't ever allowed, my personal experience of people to get in the way of showing up in a need be situation if I need to show up. And I really thank my family for that, because they gave me that type of like faithfulness, that type of loyalty, even, if you will. So fast forward, love my family. Ultimately had a pretty good experience with everybody. My grandfather gets sick. He starts coming down with Alzheimer's, which represented itself as dementia, which is, you know, the first stage of Alzheimer's. And every quality facility that my grandma was considering putting my grandfather in for treatment and for care was very expensive. Obviously, like, we could have thrown him anywhere, but why would we do that with somebody that we love? You know, we wanted him to have quality care. We wanted to ensure that he was in a space where the worker bees could be relied upon to do their job and not be secretly neglecting patients and not feeding them and beating on them. And a lot of those facilities that were like high end, they were very expensive. And my grandmother and grandfather's finances could not support him going into any of those facilities unless my grandmother was willing to give up certain assets, such as my grandparents' home that they raised my mother and my uncles and aunties in, which my grandma had intended to keep in the family in case anybody ever needed somewhere to live, in case, you know, anybody needed somewhere to stay, that there will always be kind of a sanctuary that people could retreat to if they fell on hard times, etc. So my grandma didn't want to give up her and my grandfather's home. Now, mind you, by the time this is all happening, my grandmama and grandfather have been legally separated. So she's living in one home, he's living in another home. He's still living in the home that he raised all of his children in. So my grandma brought this back to the family, and we collectively agreed that it was more than likely better for my grandfather to be in an environment that was natural to him and around people constantly that he was familiar with, because this helps prolong dementia. It helps to prolong the evolution and progression of dementia is by keeping the patient in a familiar space around familiar people. However, there wasn't nobody who wanted the fucking job, because that job came with having to partially be a live-in caregiver for my grandfather. It wasn't like a situation where you come down there and you work for a few hours out of the day, then you head home. No, he needed round the clock care. He needed to be fed, he needed to be clothed, he needed to be bed, and he needed to be supervised all throughout the day, because my granddaddy would have bouts of memory loss, and he would want to leave the house half naked. He would, try to get in his car and drive, and like it was just unsafe, turning the stove on but forgetting to turn it off. And so there was nobody who wanted to do the hard work, quote unquote, right? So my aunt, who is my grandfather's second youngest, she also was a daddy's girl. She was like, well, Ma, I'll do it. I'll take it on and we'll work through it. And then my family got together and came up with me. They put my name in a hat. Now, at the time, I thought this was very interesting, because I'm just like, I got like 20,000 aunties and 20,000 uncles, and I got 20,000 cousins. The fact that they thought I was fit to care for my grandfather was very affirming to me, because I never really thought about the type of experience that I was creating for my family. And the fact that they trusted me in a situation like this, and they wanted me, like I was the first go-to. My name was the first motherfucker, even out of his own children. Like, we need Davion. Davion can do this. Davion is perfect for this. Now, mind you, when I first graduated high school, I was also working in a community care center as a nurse's aide. So I was taking care of disabled men, disabled vets, those who were paralyzed, those who were blind, those who were deaf. And I was always just a very empathic person anyway. I was always a very caring person, a very sensitive person as it relates to other people's needs. So, it was a no-brainer for them. So they came to me with the conversation and said, hey, this is what we're thinking about. We can't really put your granddaddy in a facility, blah, 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 blah. And this would call for a big sacrifice, because this would be a live-in situation. You and your aunt can split up that time in terms of how y'all want to delegate and handle all of that. And my grandma was only going to be able to pay us pennies on the fucking dollar. Like, I'm talking about a barely livable wage. Like, barely livable wage. Consider it charity, if you will. Now, mind you, I'm in my early 30s at this point. I'm also engaged. And I'm just like, wow, this is interesting. But I really appreciated everything that my grandfather and my grandmother had done for me and for all of my relatives, and how much of a staple they were in other people's stability of growing up. Because a lot of people wouldn't have made it had it just not been for my grandmother and my grandfather, who were always available to be a resource. So I was like, of course I will. This is my opportunity to give back to my grandmother and to be there for her in her time of need. And this is an opportunity for me to be there for my grandfather. Now, mind you, I was my grandfather's favorite grandchild. I'm also my grandmother's favorite grandchild. Ironically, I'm everybody's favorite. Like, my grandparents were fucking crazy about me. And so I was happy to do it. So I did it. This lasted for about 6 years. It was the hardest 6 years of my life. It wasn't even the taking care of my grandfather part. It was the dealing with my family in such an intimate way part. When I was in a non-work situation with them, I can pick and choose when I dealt with them, which is what was healthier. But because I was taking care of my grandfather, it kind of forced me into a certain level of proxy with them that would not have happened had I not been a caretaker for my grandfather. And all of the toxicity of them and a lot of the drama in the underbelly of my family really was resurfacing in this situation. And it caused me a lot of deep stress and a lot of deep depression as a result. Everything culminated when my appendix had ruptured. I was at my grandfather's house. I was doing his laundry. His laundry is in his garage. It's like a garage, and then there's a laundry room inside of the garage. And I had just taken, I think, some clothes out of the dryer, and I was about to bring them into the house. And from the garage, you go into the kitchen, and then from the kitchen into the living room, and then down the hallway is like the restroom and the bedrooms on both sides of the hallway. So I'm about to take the first step of the stairs to get into the kitchen from the garage, and I hear a very soft pop. And then I drop straight to the floor, and I feel this massive, sheer, piercing pain just rip through my abdomen, like one of the worst pains I've ever felt in my life. Like a pain that was so bad that it was maddening. I'm talking about like the type of physical pain that could drive you insane. The type of physical pain that could like cause you to go into a damn psychosis. That's how debilitating and extreme and over the top this physical pain had been. Now, mind you, I had a guardian angel my whole life, so I did not know and never felt this level of pain before. I had only been hospitalized one time in my life, and that was when I was like 9, and I was outside playing and had fell on a piece of sharp glass. And so I had to go to the hospital to get like several stitches in my knee. So I wasn't somebody who grew up sickly, who grew up in and out of doctors. And so this level of physical pain was absolutely, it was unimaginable. It was unfathomable, if you will. So my cousin was in the home at the time. He was living there. He had gotten kicked out of my grandmother's home. And for some reason, they thought it was a great idea for him to come and move into my grandfather's house, which I thought was nuts. But, you know, I didn't interject myself into that because it wasn't really my place to interject. So I was just kind of like, what? But ultimately, it was what it was. I even helped him to transport his shit from my grandmother's home to my grandfather's house when he got kicked out of that establishment and put into my grandfather's house. Now, me and this particular cousin also grew up together. It wouldn't even be right to call him a cousin. He was more like a brother. And we literally grew up in Pampers together because his mom and my mom were the closest of the sisters growing up. They were like best friends. So we all grew up together. Mind you, my cousin's mom is also the other aunt who is also a caretaker. So my aunt has him from the afternoon of Monday to the afternoon of Friday, and I have my grandfather from the afternoon of Friday to the afternoon of Monday. Okay, so basically I got the weekends, she got the 5 days a week situation. So he's in the house. His room door is wide open. He sleeps in my grandfather's old bedroom. And he's in his drawers. He's got the TV on. At this point, I'm barely crawling through the house. I'm now got to get to my phone because my cell phone is in the back of the house, which means I got to travel through the kitchen, through the living room, all the way down the hallway just to get to my cell phone so I can call for help. So I'm barely crawling, and obviously I'm in distress. Obviously I'm hollering. I'm in pain, etc. And my cousin's bedroom is like wide open. He watches me barely crawl past his room. But, you know, I'm in so much pain that I'm in pure survival mode. So I don't have time to ask him for anything. I'm just completely in survival mode. I got to get to my phone. Because I need medical aid at this point. So I better crawl. I get to the back room, get my cell phone, call 911. Boom. But then there's another fucking problem. The front door is locked, and it's locked from the fucking inside. So now I got to barely crawl from the back room all the way back to the front of the house, use the key to unlock the goddamn door so that EMT can get inside of the house. So I barely crawl back through to the front part of the house. He's in the room still. laying down with one knee up, watching cartoons, while this whole melee and drama is playing out in the house. God gives me the supernatural strength to be able to defend and advocate for myself in a moment where all that I have is myself. And thank spirit, the ancestors, the angels, thank the spirit of my mother, the spirit of my grandmother, thank all the people who rooting for me on the other side, girl, thank all the things, okay? Because what I was clear about by the time the day ended was that the enemy was, that day I was supposed to die. That day the enemy was trying to take my entire motherfucking head. So the EMT gets there. Now, mind you, I could hear them in the distance. I could hear the sirens in the distance. I'm now laid out in the living room floor. I'm wailing. I'm in pain. My cousin even gets up at one point, comes out of the room, goes right across the hallway into the bathroom, takes a piss, leaves out of the bathroom, sees me, and goes right back into his bedroom and even closes the motherfucking door. Even closes the door. Now, mind you, this is a nigga I have been raised up with since I've been in diapers. Our mothers are best friends. I've never done nothing. We ain't never had no argument. We ain't never had no physical fight. No fucking nothing. Nothing. Now, mind you, the relationship is a little raggedy at this point because he did some other fuck shit. So I had stopped like kind of speaking to him because he was driving around with a suspended license. And the cops had pulled him over one night. And instead of him just being honest with the authorities, he impersonated me during the stop and gave them my name, gave them my information. And then one day I just get this ticket to my motherfucking mailbox that I owe $400 something for a speeding ticket, and that I was driving on a suspended license. And I'm like, bitch, what are y'all talking about? And then he finally comes contacting me and was like, hey, cuz, I want to tell you what happened. Now, mind you, I was pissed the fuck off, but I was like, okay, if he just takes responsibility and undoes this shit, it's water under the bridge. So he tells me that he's going to come with me to my hearing so that he can tell the judge that, hey, you know, this is my ticket. I impersonated my cousin. Da 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 da. So the hearing day comes. This nigga don't want to come because he's scared that they're going to lock him up, and he's putting himself first. He's centering himself first. And so now I'm down there in front of the judge, and the officer who provided the ticket, he's like, yeah, this is not the person that I stopped. But the judge is just like, well, I can't undo the ticket because I would need the person you gave the ticket to come down here and bear witness and testify to that. And I'm like, this is some goofy shit. What do you mean you need my cousin to come here? You literally have the officer standing right beside me telling you that I'm not the motherfucker that he pulled over, that this is not the person that he gave the ticket to. If you can't believe him, then what the fuck is the point of him even fucking existing? So I had to end up paying that fucking ticket. I had to end up going through all this shit to get the point back on my license and blah, 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 blah. And because he didn't take no responsibility and then bailed on me on Judgment Day, I wasn't fucking with him. Now, mind you, I just showed that through my actions because I'm a Scorpio. Scorpio's going to do more action than we are talking. So I never confronted him. I never cussed him out. We didn't have a confrontation over it. I just went silent and just went cold in the situation because you know what you did. And the fact that I was willing to even let bygones be bygones because I know you stupid as hell, and then you still tried to play with me in a situation where I'm giving you grace, and you see that your actions are directly impacting me, and you don't give a fuck, and you centering you? Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. And I'm going to show you the big fuck on you by not making myself physically or emotionally available to you. So we weren't talking at the time, right? That the whole appendant situation had happened. But even with that, it is preposterous and completely absurd for you to watch your own blood relative fighting for their life in a medical crisis. You didn't know whether I was on that floor dying. And you could have been the only thing standing in between me and life itself. And I don't even understand how, in a situation where we're not talking, that you could withstand watching me in a situation like that. I don't understand how you could not experience no type of fear, that your own humanity is not aroused and activated in a situation like that. And then the fact that you're mad at me for being mad at you, and therefore that justifies you basically leaving me for fucking dead in the living room. Like, it's the whole lack of emotional intelligence and the nefariousness of it all. But that speaks to his narcissism and just how self-centered and I-centered he in fact is. Now, following the events of God saving my life, my grandmother, she was in charge of the whole, who's in my grandfather's house. And it took me about 3 weeks to have to recover well enough to go back into caring for my grandfather. And by this time, I'm expecting that my grandmother is going to have put my cousin out of my grandfather's house, because her expectation is that I'm going to go back down there to care for my grandfather 3.5 days out of the motherfucking week. And in my head, I'm thinking 1 + 1 just equals 2. It's not even like a if and a but about it, because it can't be in no way, shape, or form that you really expect me to go and coexist and cohabitate with someone who would leave me to die. That can't be what you honestly think is natural and should happen, and you hold the power to regulate said situation. Everybody popped off about him to me privately. My grandma popped off. My uncles popped off. My aunties popped off. My cousins popped off. But nobody popped off directly to him. Nobody sat him aside and asked him, what the fuck is wrong with your sick, stupid, weird ass? What the fuck is wrong with you? We would have been burying Davion if it wasn't for all of the supernatural, miraculous events that culminated that day that protected him on that day. If it would have been left up to you, nigga, this man would have died in this motherfucking house. Who taught you that? Who taught you that evil? Who taught you to abandon like that? Everybody was privately and personally offended. Everybody was personally outraged. Everybody privately expressed this, that, and the third about him in the situation, but nobody had made a public spectacle about it. And I was also cool with that, right? Because I know how family is. And I know that people would slap love even over the most extreme of shit. The person that I needed to do something wasn't even my aunts, my uncles, or my cousins. The person I needed to do something was my grandmother, because she was the only person who could do something objectively that would have made it make sense regarding, at this point now, my emotional and physical well-being. Because once you leave me in a situation like that, the next logical conclusion is this nigga wants me dead. And if you want me dead, I can't put nothing past you at this point. So why would I feel comfortable living in a house 3.5 days out of the week with someone who is capable of not caring about my very life. And we weren't even beefing. It's just that, like, I stopped talking to him because you didn't do your part in rectifying my license situation. You were the one who was wrong. But see, that's how the narcissism is always set up. They find some way to try to reverse Uno and flip the script on you, and they find some way to center themselves, and, you know, your injury doesn't matter. You know, all of the bullshit. So my grandmother, by the time I was well and I could go back into that situation, he was still there. Now, mind you, personally, I'm blown. I'm blown that this nigga is still here and she still expected me to go back into that situation. And my grandmother better thank the empathic gods, baby, because the way that I chose to reason with myself just to continue to provide her comfort as it related to caring for my grandfather was all due to sheer emotional intelligence. I sat in myself, heartbroken, completely distraught, that there could be such severe emotional abandonment in such an extreme and severe situation while I'm still being asked to consider everybody while nobody is considering me. That's the preposterous gaslighting of it all. The audacity to disregard my needs while continuing to want me and hold me accountable and responsible and expect me to show up for you while you don't have to show up for me is the preposterous of the psychological warfare that motherfuckers be doing on you, whether it be intentional or unintentional, right? But because of who I am, because of how God raised me to be, I say to myself, hurt, heartbroken, completely and utterly disappointed in my family, but more so my grandmother, because she held the power. She had the power in the situation. And I said to myself, for the sake of my grandfather, who I know don't have anywhere else to be, and all he got in part is me, my aunt, and my grandmother is too old to care for him, and care homes are too expensive to put him anywhere, and I could not live with myself had she tried to put him in some low-ranking care facility, and them people would have neglected my grandfather because I would have ended up in an orange jumpsuit. And still, out of honoring my grandparents, I chose to put my shit aside, my PTSD aside, to put my concerns aside, to put my disappointment aside, to prioritize and hold myself integrally to what I had committed myself to. But what I did do is I also told myself, the moment that spirit takes my grandfather, bitch, I am gone. The minute that my grandfather closes his eyes, girl, I am gone with him. I'm done. My grandfather didn't die for another 3 years. I stayed in that situation, carrying all of that inside of myself because I chose to be faithful to what I had agreed to, and I chose to be faithful to my grandparents despite this extreme injury that had been happened because of the way that they had handled me and the way they had handled the situation regarding me. When my grandfather finally passed, and he passed away in a care facility home because he had acquired an injury on my auntie's watch that put him, where he had to be in the care of professionals. And then from there, he was transported to a care facility and then he shortly passed away, probably about a month being in that care facility. The day on his funeral, I didn't go to the repast. I didn't go to the ceremony. I showed up at the burial. I gave my 1-2s to my grandfather at the burial. I hugged my brother. I spoke to and hugged my grandmother. I gave her my condolences for the loss of her husband. And I never saw my family again after that. And that was 16 maybe. I had went no contact, and I had kept my motherfucking word that I was gone. I was gone. Now, from 2016 to 2026, my family has made every attempt they could to get back into my good graces, to align with me, to speak to me. They've blown up my phone. They've come by my home. They've tried to go through other people to get in contact with me. Everybody has been confused and wondering, where I was, why I was no longer showing up to family events, why I wasn't showing up to Thanksgiving and Christmas and, blah, 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 blah. And I just wasn't speaking to anybody but a very small amount of my relatives. My brother was one of them, and pretty much all my cousins. I didn't have anything really to do with my elders. And I had definitely stopped speaking to my grandmother because I just couldn't make sense of it. I couldn't understand. I just couldn't understand it. I just couldn't understand it. I just could not make it make sense. Why nobody was outraged enough. Now, mind you, my mother had already been gone. She had passed away in 2012. And I'm just like, so y'all were going to be okay burying another relative? Y'all already lost my mother. Y'all were going to lose me had things played out the way the enemy intended them to and desired them to and wanted them to. Every time my family would reach for my attention, it's not that I even had to resist my desire to want to speak to them. I just didn't have a desire. That whole situation had killed my whole buzz. It wasn't even in me. It wasn't even like I was sitting over here damn. It was like, I don't know them people. I don't know them. I don't know them. Because that's how I felt. I really felt like, girl, I don't know y'all. This is incongruent with what I believed. This is incongruent with all that Christian shit y'all hoot and holler about, all that family shit y'all hoot and holler about. Y'all love to talk about people privately, but can't stand on it publicly. It was starting to make sense to me in a way, but it also didn't make no sense to me because it was just such an extreme and over the top situation. It wasn't like the family was just not getting involved with two people who just didn't like each other. It wasn't like they was, not getting involved because, two loved ones just had a bad argument and just weren't talking. No, motherfucker. One motherfucker left another motherfucker for dead and for no reason. And there should be no reason that can even make sense. How does that not arouse a do something energy, right? Okay, fast forward, child. So I've been no contact with 90% of my biologicals from 2016 all the way up to now 2026. But the past 3 days, I've actually spent some time with my people. My female cousin encouraged me to share my experience and to, communicate it, even though it was like we already hadn't been through this already. I know that they know why I wasn't fucking with them. They just didn't want to deal with why I wasn't fucking with them. But it wasn't that they don't know why I ain't fucking with them. Because I'm a very honest person and I'm a very transparent person. I don't leave people to be psychics when it comes to me. If I feel a way, I communicate that so that people have an opportunity to respond how they claim they would have in a hypothetical of them. Well, if only you would have told me. Well, I tell people, and I tell people in real time what is going on. I don't tell them after the fact. I don't, expect people to just know, because I know how unconscious people are. So I communicate my love. I communicate my dislike. I communicate my dis-ease. I communicate it. But I decided, you know what? My grandmother is getting old as Methuselah, and I don't want her to pass without us being okay. And I don't want her to leave this world without her favorite grandchild around. And my grandmother has never done anything fucked up to me. Like, it's not like we have a pattern, but it was just like there was this one extreme situation that just really blew the lid off of everything for me. So I was like, considering all those things, I will have some conversations with some people. And to make a long story short, the people that I hadn't been speaking to, they all apologized. They all acknowledged that they completely mishandled the situation. They expressed regret, even some shame. They completely understood what this would look like from my point of view. And there was no pushback. There was no like trying to mansplain, womansplain. People, they just stood in my point of view. And they admitted that they dropped the ball. And that it was an insane situation to drop a ball in. So now we're here. Apologies have been had. Now, my brother, who I've always been on good terms with, he, I, and my niece, we spent a lot of time together over the past 2 days. I've been enjoying he and I, and my niece, who literally looks like the female version of me, when her mama saw me, was just like, who did I fuck? Your brother or you? Basically. So I've been with my family the past few days. And to be honest, I don't know what to do. I received the apologies. I appreciate the ownership that was taken regarding the way that I was dealt with in that situation. I appreciate the remorse and accountability, but I still don't have that feeling. I don't have that social desire. I don't have that. I can't say that even after these conversations that it makes me want to be in relationship, because I've been so out of those relationships for so long. And that has given me the opportunity to surround myself with people that really love me, which really makes it hard now. It makes it even harder to look at what was given to me in that situation and appreciate it, because I now know what real love looks like. I know what real community looks like. I know what real empathy looks like. I'm not talking about that performative stuff that narcissists do, but I know what that shit really looks like. And my family still has a lot going on, even outside of, my situation, because even outside of like the situation I was in with them, there were a lot of other shit that was taking place. And a lot of mess is still going on today. And I don't have an appetite for that. I literally live like a Buddhist. The people that I spend the majority of my time with live the same way. Outside of other people, I don't be having no personal drama. I don't have no personal drama. I don't live from pillar to post. I don't have issues paying my bills. I don't have like my life is peaceful and stable, and it's the same every single day. I don't have no crazy shit going on. And I've become so insulated and so incubated now into a peaceful existence that I have resistance toward being aligned with people who keep up the shit and people who keep up the mess and people who flimsy in their character and flimsy in their emotional stability and flimsy in what they want and don't want and flimsy and how they be and not be. I'm so turned off. And so there's still a larger issue outside of just my individual situation with my family, where it's like, yeah, but even if y'all are trying to verbally and emotionally clean up this particular event with me, I love y'all, but the truth is y'all are all still a mess as well. And one thing I know about dealing with mess and dealing with people who are a mess is that you can be completely sane and completely grounded and normal going into a community like that, and then can end up a mess just like them. Like other people literally can turn a healthy person into an unhealthy person. And as much as I love them, the truth is that I don't think that they're worth it. I love them, but they're not worth my peace of mind. I love them, but they're not worth my emotional, mental, and spiritual stability. I love them, but they are not worth it for me. And I don't need the validation anymore. I don't need the vindication anymore. I don't even need them to change. I changed instead. I changed. Them not changing pushed me to change. I changed. And I'm also okay with the consequences of doing what's best for me. Because a lot of times when you start to vote for yourself and you start to regulate shit and you start gathering yourself, you will become a villain in other people's story. I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with I'm okay with people not being okay with the fact that I'm not putting up with it. I'm okay with people not being okay that I ain't fucking with it. That ain't got nothing to do with me, baby. Nothing. The only person that I get to be in control of is me. And that's who the fuck I'm going to be in control of. I can't do anything with the reality other people want to live in. I can't do anything regarding the reality other people want to cultivate for themselves. But what I get to do is co-create my reality according to my ethics, my well-being, and my joy and my peace. And I'm not 80% committed to that. I'm not 60% communicated to that. I am 100% communicated to that. Committed to that. And whatever other people have to tell them fucking selves about that is their business. That witchcraft and that bitchcraft has no effect on me. Oh, CTV's overreacting. Go pray about it. Oh, CTV doing too much. Go pray about it. Oh, go pray about it, baby. Go pray about it, baby. There is no way for you to alley-oop. There's no way for you to trick me out. There's no way for you to manipulate me out. But baby, go pray about it. Go pray to your God about it. Go into your closet. Go talk shit amongst each other about it. Whatever you have to do to feel better about it and to soothe yourself about it, go do something about it. Because I did something about what I was uncomfortable with. I did something about what hurt and harmed me, which is I got the fuck out. Shout out to Jordan Peele. So this is a great question. Why did they apologize years later? Maybe because I finally provided the space for them to do it. Because remember, after my grandfather passed, I went no contact. However, though, right, we were dealing with the situation in real time. So to that very point, they had all the time in the world to apologize. They could have not even had to apologize. They could have acted in accordance to what logically makes sense. Because here's the thing. My cousin was just leeching. I was the one who was a necessity in that situation. I was the one who was a caregiver in that situation. My cousin could have went back and lived with his mother because his childhood home and his childhood bedroom was still available to him. My cousin wasn't even necessary. And I was necessary, right? And it took my grandfather 3 years to die after the fact. So all this time was time that could have went to regulating the situation, and they didn't. And then by the time my grandfather had, closed his eyes, I, had already decided that I was gone. That once my grandfather was gone, I was gone too. And then I didn't speak to whom I wasn't speaking to. So I don't know if at any point between 2016 and now, they were trying to get into my life to try to make amends, to blah, 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 blah. But once again, it was just like, if y'all wanted to make amends, y'all could have made amends in a moment. And then y'all had 3 years in between my grandfather passing to think about what made me comfortable and to confront the situation at hand, and y'all never did. And now that I'm penalizing y'all, not punishing y'all, because punishing comes from the ego. Penalizing comes from self-love and justice. Not until I penalize y'all by withdrawing, now y'all want to activate. That also is insincere. That's insincere. It takes me grabbing my purse and grabbing my shit and hauling ass for y'all to fucking activate and go into emergency mode when I was lovingly communicating what I needed and y'all witnessed what I had experienced. It was dumbfounding to me that that you weren't just uncomfortable for me, that they weren't uncomfortable for themselves. Like, how are y'all comfortable? How can I be comfortable? How in the fuck are y'all comfortable? And here's where I become a distinguished person from other people, right? When I'm locked in and I love someone, there's nothing that can happen to them that doesn't happen to me. I literally feel it. I feel it physiologically. I feel it emotionally. It Bluetooths itself into me. So a lot of times what people be calling loyalty is literally my empathy activated. Because when you slice away at somebody that I love and care about, and I know you're fucking wrong at that, you can't do all that and it not slice, stab, rip, tear me apart. But I be in situations where, once again, I was sitting there taking care of my grandfather because of my empathy. I put aside my own trauma and what I went through in that situation, even though my grandma completely felt me because of my empathy. And here it is. I'm constantly in situations with people that will benefit from my empathy, will find my empathy convenient when it comes to them, but then don't want to show or demonstrate any of that shit when it comes to me. And I'm absolutely done with those people. I'm done with that type of a system. Nobody is going to manipulate me into a lopsided ass situation or one-sided ass situation. You are not going to sit in my face and entitle yourself to be mad with who the fuck you want to be mad at, upset with whoever the fuck you want to be upset at. Pull back, withdraw, feel how you feel, block motherfuckers, no contact motherfuckers, and then constantly try to persuade me to rationalize and romanticize the very same harmful behavior that you not even comfortable subjecting yourself to. I'm not going to be in community. I'm not going to be in relationship to those type of weirdos. I'm not going to be nothing. I'm also not going to throw a grenade behind me and blow the spot up either. Because when I get into I got to get out mode, I just be so happy that I got the fuck out. I don't even be mad enough to want to plot revenge. I just be happy to have gotten out, bitch. Fuck being mad. Why be mad when I can be free? So I forgive them. But something else that I've learned in doing a lot of my shadow work, and I've learned in therapy as well, is that forgiveness is not synonymous with relationship. I don't have to be in relationship to you just because I forgive you. I can forgive you and I can wish you well and I can go on about my way. I don't have to mold out a relationship. I don't have to endure the relationship. I don't have to entertain a relationship just because I forgive the individual. So they have my forgiveness, which is why I haven't been a terror. I haven't terrorized them. I didn't stay around and punish them. And I went on to love me and to create the life that I deserve, rather than putting my energy into beating a dead horse or to trying to get people to understand what should be understood. Because what I find also to be interesting about empaths' relationships to the world is that everybody will act bewildered when it comes to the empath, right? When we take a stance emotionally and when we take a stance mentally. But ironically, those same people are never bewildered when it comes to their own pain. Baby, they're clear about who did what, why they did what, baby. Them motherfuckers are so present in any transgression and who did it and assigning a who to the what and to the how. Buck will act crazy when you show up in your will and wants. And personally, I'm okay with what everybody else wants for themselves. I love that for you. I don't love it for me. Not for me, I don't. God gave me better, and therefore I'm going to do better, and I'm going to act like I know better. God gave me the higher version of that love and gave it to me from other people. God gave me the higher version of community, gave me the higher version of friendship and family. Why would I ever go back to a barely functioning vehicle when I'm now in a well-running automobile? Who ever goes back willfully? Why would I ever give up a well-running system built upon sufficiency and efficiency and go back to some raggedy shit willfully? But why would I do that willfully? I thought we're all trying to progress in life, not regress in life. Now, I understand that a lot of people will benefit from you not knowing who you are. A lot of people will benefit from you not having a bar. A lot of people will benefit from you not having a standard. So they will always try to talk you out of doing what's best for you. Baby, you can gather an entire fucking continent against that point. Your bitchcraft and your witchcraft do not work here. It does not hold any power here. And I'm damn sure not going to hear that from hypocrites who entitle themselves to feel everything they want to feel, and then will entitle themselves to feel how they want to feel about the very same people you feel it toward. But because their bar is low and they will play patty cake with these motherfuckers and you don't, then you're the problem because you don't want to surround yourself with unstable people, and because you don't let people play psychological games with you, and because you address the gaslighting and the tomfoolery. I'm okay if you're that delusional to not know what healthiness looks like. Once again, I love this for everybody else, baby. I don't love it for me, and I'm not putting up with it. Girl, my skin is radiating, my hair is radiating, my spirit is radiating. I'm Ashanti. And like what Ashanti said? I'm cool when I'm not with you, but I'm hurting while I'm with you. But in her case, her heart couldn't take no more, but she found herself running back. I don't run back. People run toward me. And I understand why. Because what they're really running toward is their healthiness too. But they don't want to do the work. They love the idea of stability. They love the idea of safeguarding their peace of mind. But the actuality, they fail at, because the actuality causes for you to have to learn discipline, for you to be courageous. People like to romanticize healing. The process of healing is completely demonstrative. It's dark, it's hard, because you're basically reappropriating your mind and reappropriating your emotions and reappropriating your expectations. It's basically like going on a diet. There's nothing fucking poetic about being on a fucking diet, but you do it because of the end result, the process of getting there. Learning how to stay committed to the gym, learning how to eat clean and eat right, having to get up and do shit when you don't feel like it. See, all that shit healing requires so much self-accountability. This is why most people just love the idea of healing, but they fail to implement it for the same reason why they fail to implement any other disciplinary action in their life. For the same reason they fail. See, how we do one thing is how we do all motherfucking things. The way that I was able to reverse type 2 diabetes is the same motherfucking attitude that went into why I was able to reverse the bullshit and wake up and become lucid and disillusioned social systems. See, I never stopped waking up once I woke up. I've just been waking up. So now I'm just orbiting the earth. I don't feel like I'm down here with the people. I'm outside of the atmosphere looking in. And I'm not coming back down. The old CTV would come back down. Motherfuckers now going to have to come up to get me, because I'm not coming down to get them. It's not happening. And I'm not worried about you. I'm not worried about what you want. I'm not worried about what you willing to allow in your life. I'm not worried about how your choice is going to cost you. I'm focused on mine. I don't give a fuck about what you're going to do with you. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't my business no more. I've put all of my focus into me. Whatever you like for you, baby, I love it. For me and mine, for me and my inner house, it's a no. And it's going to remain a no. And since I've been out there in the orbits where the satellites are, I've been finding other satellites. And baby, it's night and day in terms of experience. Night and day. When you allow yourself to not take no chances and to stay in sick environments and to stay around people who are mentally sick, emotionally sick, and spiritually sick, you will convince yourself that there is no other reality outside of that. And sometimes, to some degree, it can be argued that you don't know no better. Because you can't reach for what you don't know, and you can't really reach for what you never had. And in reaching for it, all you're reaching for at first is just an idea that you hope is a reality. But most people, as we just talked about, don't have the wherewithal to stay committed to the process to see that hope fulfilled. But I do. I am a person who takes a lot of chances. I'm a person who believes in the goodness and wellness of the world. And I'm glad that I did, because I gave myself an opportunity to experience the proof of the truth. That no, love is not harmful. That no, you don't have to just exist within a broken family unit. You can go and create your life. You can go and create your fucking community. And that there's better. The grass is actually greener. Matter of fact, the grass is as greener as you are. So give yourself permission to go and seek and search out other pastures and other meadows and other fields of daisies. Because at some point in your journey and in your seeking, you will stumble upon yourself again. Had I not given myself the opportunity to have better people in my life, I would be still trying to make do with what other people will convince me is all that there is. And it's just not true. That's all that there is in life. Is abandonment and neglect and usury and narcissism and self-centeredness and emotional abuse and physical abuse and sexual abuse and untrustworthiness. That it's just not true. That's all that there is. There is that. It's just not all of the inventory. It's just not. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'm gonna do nothing. I have the apology. That really probably means more for them than it does for me, because I didn't need the apology. I gave myself permission to be free. I gave myself permission to let go. I gave myself permission to move forward. I wasn't waiting on an apology. So I'm like, well, it's good that they clearly needed to say something. They clearly needed to take ownership for something. And I just provided them the space to do that. But I wasn't looking for that. And the only reason why I was okay with taking my cousin's advice to talk to some of them was because I didn't need anything. And that's the only time that I talk now. The only time that I put my feelings on the table is not because I expect your raggedy, goofy, dumb ass to reciprocate it. I know you're fucked up. I know you're dense. I know you're stupid. I know you are a fucking narcissist. I know you only care about your fucking self. And I know that you don't see me nor hear me. I'm not telling you anything because I need something from you. I'm telling it to you because I'm just bold enough to do it. Because I'm honest and transparent, not because I need anything from you, because I actually expect you to be exactly who the fuck you are. And I'm in the business these days of choosing the way I want to be loved. You don't have to love me the way that I want to be loved, but I do get to decide if I want to be cared for this way. I do get to decide if I want to be loved this way. And I've decided largely in most of these relationships that I don't want to be loved this way. I want to be cared this way. And it doesn't per se make you evil. But it also doesn't mean that I don't have choice while you do. If you don't have to care about how I want to be cared about, I don't have to care about how you feel about me not wanting to be cared for like that. The street goes both ways. It goes vice versa. People will tell you all the time, you know, well, everybody's not like you. Everybody's not like you, right? They're not. They probably should be. Because the world would be a better fucking place if people held themselves accountable and true to their word, to their promises, if people actually reached for the better version of themselves, if people stayed out of relationships and marriages and friendships and family ships until they got their shit together, shit would be so much better if broken, dense-ass people weren't intersecting through functional working situations and systems. And this is the only reason why I wanted to talk to y'all today, because I knew somebody would need to hear it and someone would benefit from hearing it. Because if you need something outside of yourself to encourage you to vote for yourself, then that's what I'm telling you to do today, is to vote for yourself. You're not doing yourself any justice by staying in situations that do not serve you, where you are only looked at as a goddamn servant. That doesn't benefit you. It doesn't even really benefit them either. And in the end, you're going to wake up one day and realize that you gave the best of everything that you are, the best of how you've been raised, the best of everything that God nurtured in you. And you did that for people who were packing their backpack with all of that shit with a plan to move forward without you, while you were consistently thinking of them. You're going to wake up one day and it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. How motherfucking empty-handed your hand is. In spaces with people who said all the right things, but kept doing all the wrong things. Love does not make people worth it. Everybody from my past, and you know, really it's mostly my family at this point. I love them. They're not worth the headache. They're not worth this. I'm happier without them. I've done it without them, and I'll continue to do it and be prosperous and thrive without them. The reason why I can have a clean bill of health is because I'm choosing my health in every regard. I'm not using love as an excuse to stay within toxic situations and toxic systems. I need me more than I need anybody else. And I'm not letting anybody rip and rape me away from myself again, because it didn't cost me to do it. I mean, because it costed me to do it. And it costed me only. While everybody else got to produce a smile off of the back of my pain. Everybody else got to be safe off the back of my pain. Everybody got to be okay off of the back of my sacrifices. Everybody got to be just fine. Oh, yeah. And now I'm going to make sure that I'm absolutely motherfucking fine. And if you got to go, then hell, I'm willing to send you on your way. You don't mean more to me than I mean to me. So I'm vindicated. I'm happy when wrong ass people can admit that they fucked up, because you're not going to convince me that I fucked it up. See, I only know one way to do everything, and that's lovingly. That's how I keep my side real clean of the bullshit. You lie. You betray. You selfish. You cherry pick. You confused as fuck. You go in and out. You got the instability. I only know one way to do all motherfucking things. That's why a motherfucker can't get up here, bitch, and talk no shit. That's why all a motherfucker could and would be able to do is lie. Your truth, the truth will never be backed by any. Your foolishness will never be backed by any proof. Just your narrative. And, I've been good to live who I am out loud. So I have hundreds of thousands of witnesses who have bared and will be a living witness and testament. I just got out of a conversation earlier today with somebody who didn't tell another person the full truth. And it's just everything is just so, I just don't even, it's just like, girl, take me out of the group chat. Take me out the motherfucking group chat, because out of order. You got motherfuckers inserting themselves into shit that not even their business and not even a place to begin with. Because I'm a 40-fucking-year-old man. And then you got motherfuckers who not telling other motherfuckers the truth. And then the expectation is that everything should be working fine. Take me out of the motherfucking group chat. I don't have these issues with anybody else. But there's a consistency within a certain type of personality type. Once again, that P word, patterns. Patterns and personality types. Life is too short to be worried and to be stressing over people who are okay with the bed they've made in hell. Just don't let anybody convince you to lay down there with them. Don't. I'm so emotionally uninvested in what bed people have made for themselves. I'm just clear about what I want my bed to look like and feel like every day. I don't call and ask nobody about shit. I don't call and ask nobody for shit. I mind the business that pays me. I stay to myself. I stay close to my community and stay close to my reinforcing steel pillars. And I hold on tight to my well-being. That motherfucker is grit locked in. I got a grit lock grip around that motherfucker. Because at some point, you're the only person who can decide enough is enough. Enough. No more explaining. Enough. No more accepting. Enough. Only you. You got to take full responsibility for your part in you. And you are responsible for what you allow. You cannot make people treat you well, but you get to decide if you're going to stay in relationship to that shit. And if you choose to, you're not a victim. If you choose to stay in relationship to people who consistently betray you, forsake you, who consistently deny you and deflect from you, if you continue to, you're not a victim. You're not a victim. Whether it's your husband and your wife, whether it's your friend, your foe, whether it's you are the only person who is responsible. Because when motherfuckers show you who you are, you ain't gotta hate them, but you need to believe them. For your well-being and for your sake, you need to believe people when they show you who the fuck they are, including family. I understand as Black and brown people, we've been so conditioned to prioritize family, baby. I'm of the belief, while motherfuckers will say blood is thicker than water, but you know what's thicker than blood is love. I got people who I'm not even in blood relationship to, who have done more for me and who have laid more on the line for me than any motherfucker who, well, I can say any, but in comparison to some motherfuckers who I share blood with. What's thicker than blood is love. This person being your family is not an excuse to let them continue to harm you. This person being your lover is not an excuse. This person being your friend is not an excuse. This person being your coworker, your boss, is not an excuse. And you do have to escape whole systems, because the gatekeepers of those systems sometimes have done such a work on other people who have been equally victimized by the system that those people end up just being full-fledged employees of the gatekeeper's psychosis and reinforcing that psychosis. And so sometimes you can't just walk away from a person, you have to walk away from an entire community. I'm too fine to be stressed. I'm too smart to be stressed. I'm too talented to be stressed and to allow people with low self-esteem to treat me in low self-esteem ways. And so are you. So are you. So are you. If you allow people to make you sick, you will be. All right, I'm gonna take questions. I got the apology. Didn't ask for it. Didn't want it. Wasn't seeking it, and didn't expect it. But I got it, and that's cool. I still don't have a desire socially, but you know, I'm not going to force anything. I'm just going to live my life. If the feeling ever finds me again, I'm not going to resist it. You know, if I want to show up again and I want to eat turkey and macaroni and get type 1 diabetes with motherfuckers, I will. I'm not going to deny it, but I would be lying if I say that I feel any differently. I had already brought my own personal closure to the situation, and I went on about my life. I used what they took me through to make me a better person to other people. See, I'm not one of them people who I get traumatized and then I go traumatize other motherfuckers. When motherfuckers do me wrong, I become even more informed about how I absolutely don't want to do other people in my life. And then I go make a conscious effort to not do that to other people. So if I'm unprotected in a situation, I'm going to make sure that I absolutely am protective in a situation. If I see other people not speaking truth to power in a situation, I'm going to speak truth to power in a situation. It just makes me double up on everything. It don't make me want to be a hurt person and then I go start hurting people. And that's not people's experience of me, because it's not me and it's never going to be me. And I have to keep other people's unhealthiness away from me. And this has to be a lifestyle. Wellness has to be a lifestyle because you're human. So I'm not above going back into a psychosis of disillusionment. I'm not above that. Because if you surround yourself with that enough and you witness that enough and that becomes secular enough in your life, you will eventually start repeating and replicating that behavior. I'm not Superman. I'm super and a man. And my divinity is well aware of my mortality. So because I am a man, I have to double down on reinforcing my wellness and protecting my mental health. And I don't care if that deranks me. I don't care, if I'm no longer the favorite cousin who you're calling. I don't care if I'm not the favorite nephew that you're calling anymore because we don't get the trauma bond anymore. I don't care if I'm not the best friend anymore. I don't care if I'm not the go-to. I don't care. I'm out. That's what I care about. I care about me in my fucking mind. And you're going to have to replace me, especially if you're not coming with me, because I'm not going back there. I'm not going back to that version of myself. I'm not extending that version of myself to anybody. So wherever I need to rank you, let the re-ranking take place. Wherever you need to rank me, let the re-ranking take place. That part of me is no longer available, girl. She's gone. Let her go. Let her go. She's gone. She's gone, girl. She's gone. The version of me that was willing to play the game according to you and your rules is over. It's done. She doesn't exist no more. That conscious doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. And that naturally is going to make our relationship more confrontational because I'm not going. We're literally in two different places. We're literally existing on two separate sides of the spectrum. And I'm not going back to that. People will have to come up. So my family has done one part of a two-part verification system. They've admitted to what they've done wrong, how they've dropped the ball, how they've mishandled situations. But now the question is, will they take that experience and make themselves better so that they can do it differently, so that they can evolve into a better version of themselves going forward? I don't know. Because once again, it's still motherfucking mess going on. So it's given that the awareness isn't leading to transformation. And when you become aware, but you don't transform as a result, you're ultimately still a dummy. You're ultimately still a dummy. It's not enough to just know better. If you're not going to do better, it doesn't matter what you know. You can know all of the TikTok and all of the things that you can know why you do it, how you do it. But if you don't have it in you to do it better, how does the knowledge serve you? So the Bible verse that's really popular that people like to cite that says, my people shall perish from a lack of knowledge. It should read, my people shall perish from a lack of not applying knowledge. Wisdom is the application of what you know, not merely just knowing it. A dummy, no, a reckless motherfucker can know technically how to drive a car and choose not to apply that and then cause a fatal incident. People disregard information all the time for whatever reason they do. It does not serve you to know a thing, but not to do a thing. All right, let me look back in the chat. If you guys have any questions, you guys are more than welcome to ask. Any questions you guys want to ask? I'm going to read some comments and respond to some comments. Let me see how far up I can go. I'll never forget what your cousin did to you while you were in pain for your appendix. Yeah, it's probably like the most extreme situation that anybody can ever fucking be in. It's really like psychologically ridiculous. It was a ridiculous and a preposterous situation to be in. Absolutely ridiculous. Surprised that I mentally dealt with it and could use it to make me a better person. Let me see. I too come from a huge family, but very few of us even talk anymore. It's so sad. They're too messy for me. Yeah, and I understand. Family is not an excuse. It's not. This is a topic that can never get old. Never, honey. Never. It's so, it's so many moving parts. You can make a movie and make a trilogy out of stuff like this. Yeah. As a teenager, my grandfather was like that. We always wondered why most of the time my grandmother was bitter and she wanted us women to be educated and get our own. Yep. Thank you, my love. Being a caregiver is one of the hardest jobs in the world. Yep. And this is why the scriptures say that those who serve you are the greatest amongst you. It's just the same. It's just a shame when people don't realize that. When they don't realize that the people who are going out of their motherfucking way, the people who are extending emotional safety and material safety and all these things, when they don't understand the honor that should be put on people who emote and show up that way. Those kind of people, unfortunately, are taken for granted and are railroaded and backdoored and sold to the highest bidder and thrown to the fucking wolves, while the same community is expecting stability. How can you expect stability when you keep sabotaging your foundation for that stability? Those who love, those who care, those who bear, they're the real leaders in any situation. To disregard them, to shun them, to sacrifice them, baby, you're literally getting rid of the foundation of your home. People are weird and stupid and so unwise. Yeah, it's low down. Right. And why Cuz didn't move? Because Cuz had it made. You're living in a home that's paid for by your grandparents, and your grandmother is such a people pleaser that she's not going to reinforce you having to even be responsible. Ain't paying no bills. No standard is being created for you. Nothing is being asked of you, and you're able to run amok and live amok. I mean, it was too good. Why go back to your mom's house? Because she ain't gonna let you do none of the shit that you're doing at your grandma's house, at your granddaddy's house. Why go get your own place? Why? When you can avoid rent and utilities and be coddled and have full autonomy. Oh yeah, had it made. Weren't going to give that up. I can't trust no one who don't have a sense of urgency when something traumatic is going down. I mean, right. Because see, those of us who have empathy, right, we can't even imagine. Like when I be trying to put my mind in other people's heads, when I be trying, like I be so far away from it that I can't even imagine. I can't imagine it. It's unimaginable to me. I'm not able to even hypothesize what it must feel. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And here's the thing, right? Somebody may argue that, well, your cousin didn't mean it maliciously. Well, that's malicious. When a person's life is on the line and you are looking directly at the circumstance and you choose to do absolutely nothing, I'm sorry. I'm not extending any type of fucking grace. I'm not going to hate him for it either, but I'm damn sure not going to also make an excuse for him either. And if it was your life before someone that you trusted and somebody who's known you all their life, who you've never done anything to, you wouldn't be sitting there making excuses for that person. When it's not your situation, it's easy for people to act dizzy as fuck when it's not them. When they're being betrayed, girl, motherfuckers get blocked and motherfuckers go no contact. When it's them, girl, who are being fucked over and thrown under the bus, girl, motherfuckers end up on block and motherfuckers go no contact. When it's you, because it's not personal for them, it's not their personal situation, it's easy. It's easy to entertain all this contradictory shit that doesn't even make sense to the situation and to play down the circumstance. My life was on the line. I was supposed to die that day, and I didn't, because God truly stands for me and stands behind me, and that's who I'm with in all thy ways. And that's who loves me, and that's who I love. And that love is reinforced in my life every time that the enemy tries me. I know that I'm loved. That love finally gave birth to people who also reflect back that love to me. Very appreciative of voting for myself and choosing a healthier life with healthier people, because I'm healthier for it. You were living a nightmare. He would have watched you. Yeah. And the weird part about it is that he would have told a complete lie too about the parish. He would have told our family that he just found me unconscious in the living room. He would have left out the part of him being fully aware and not intervening and looking at me belly crawl throughout the house and hearing my cries and hearing my agony and doing nothing. Not even so much as, are you okay, cuz? Can I get you a cup of water, cuz? Do you need an ambulance, cuz? That's the part that's so freaky to me, is had the enemy had his way that day, because the enemy was trying to kill me all the day. That whole day the enemy was trying to kill me. Had I died, not only would I have died in a situation that could have been prevented had the person there been reactive and proactive, but he would have lied and my family would have believed. They would have never known the truth. And I really would have been, in fact, an unsolved murder. I would have been an unsolved murder. They would have never known that my cousin played directly into the circumstances that were trying to come together to kill me. That is crazy. And the fact that they coddled that, the fact that they protected that, the fact that none of them could stand in my shoes, even though they've all been victimized under the same principle of abandonment. Everybody in my family have been abandoned in extreme situations. So, it was just my time to have a situation. Nobody cared that my aunts were molested. Nobody cared that my aunts were getting their brains beat out by their husbands. I'm not gonna say that, like, nobody cares and nobody cared, but I just became one more person now that got to see why shit be hitting the fan. But unlike them, I wasn't going to use my situation to create drama in the family. I just came to an understanding about how I was going to handle myself in the situation, and then I made an agreement with myself that I was going to bounce when the shit was over. And that's what I did, and I stayed true to that. And all of that attention that they tried to give me after I had cut them off over the last several 8 years, however long it's been from 2016 to now, 11 years. If they had just put all of that into the moment, no contact would have never happened. No apologies would have never had to have been given up. There was nothing but space and opportunity for right to be right and wrong to be motherfucking wrong. And the fact that I wasn't even asking for nobody to hate him, I wasn't even asking for nobody to run him out of the family. All I was asking for was the person who had control in the situation to remove him out of the environment that you wanted me to be in to care for your husband in. I didn't even have no issue with her continuing to be a grandmother to him. I didn't even have no issue with nobody continuing to be in relationship to him. Because if you don't want to let 1 + 1 = 2, or you don't want to let one person's situation affecting, your relationship to somebody, that's cool. Now I'm not built like that, but I'm also mature enough to, just because I would do it differently, because I'm the kind of person, like, bullshit ranks in my life. Like, there are certain things that are clearly just so immature. It's like, I'm not getting involved in that. I'm not getting involved in that, But baby, let me tell you something. You can't be physically violent, sexually assault, or steal, or do anything that is like explicitly harmful, felony level harmful to somebody that I love, and I'm going to compartmentalize it in that way. Hell no, because now, bitch, we're talking about a character issue. This ain't a circumstantial issue, girl. There are things in your character that terrify me, and I'm going to stand on that business. If somebody in my family would have had the nerve to leave somebody else in the same predicament that I was left in, there's not going to be a relationship, baby. It ain't going to be no kiki. Now, I might not whip that person's ass, but at the same time, bitch, I'm not going to be actively supporting that person either. I'm not going to be feeding you, funding you. No, none of that. I'm not. And to expect the victim in that situation to be able to think that I love them while I'm actively supporting someone who is objectively harming them, bitch, you got to be out of your motherfucking mind to think that somebody has to extend that type of motherfucking understanding to you. You got to be out of your rabid ass motherfucking mind to think that the victim in this situation has to also believe that you love them while you actively support the person that has or is explicitly harming them. You've got to be some type of next level idiotic, almost supernaturally idiotic. You've got to be gone out of your rabbit ass mind. Baby, I'm a prophet. So I operate also in the office of correctiveness. Prophets are not supposed to be like people. And see, now I'm really in my prophetic bag. Now I'm really operating in my prophetic office. If a prophet is beloved amongst the people, he's a false fucking prophet. He or she is a false prophet. If you look at damn near every motherfucking prophet in the word, New and Old Testament, girl, there was an assassin on their fucking life. Prophets and righteous people correct the incorrect. They speak to and challenge. They're confrontational. They toe the line of well-being. They stand in the gap and oppose injustice, which puts them on the radar of the fuckery and foolishness. I don't love not one person so motherfucking much, bitch, that you can get away with murder in my life, or better yet, in anybody else's. And if I got to tug on your fucking wig and you're too immature to value that because you a little girl or a little boy at heart, I don't give a fuck. I'm standing on it. And you're not penalizing or punishing me by not having to do with me, because what you're demonstrating to me is somebody I wouldn't want to be in relationship to begin with from the start. Bitch, you're not doing me. You're not punishing me by taking your bad behaving, no ethics, no standing on business ass away. You're doing me a favor. You're actually harming me by staying in my life. That's the other way around. And that's what's interesting about my family, is that they always wanted to use that superpower when it suited them. I remember after my grandfather passed away, I got a rich person in my life, in my family. He's a successful NBA player, very well-known and popular NBA player. He's broken all type of records in the NBA, the whole motherfucking nine. He wanted to have a conversation with the family after my grandfather's funeral. He rented a private suite, had the food catered, and he wanted to have, quote unquote, the hard conversation with the family. Everybody called me, from my uncles to my aunts to all my cousins. Even my brother called me. And everybody was like, Davi, you got to show up, bitch. So-and-so is holding a motherfucking family meeting, bitch. We need you here, girl, because we know that you gonna say the shit that need to be said. I said, I'm not doing that. I said, because this is how y'all use me. Y'all use me to go pioneer and forge ahead toward the dictator. Y'all use me to uproot everything and to speak truth to the bullshit and to the power dynamics. And then y'all all sit there quietly and let it look like I'm standing on something that you don't agree with, and have it implied and inferred by your quietness and by the mute challenge y'all on, that I'm somehow emoting something that the community isn't in alignment with. And then after the fact, y'all would go play nice with the same motherfucker that y'all use me to be a Trojan horse towards, and have me absorbing all of the pushback from the bullshit, and then want to secretly huddle up with me in quiet and be like, yeah, this motherfucker, this motherfucker. Nope. Breaking that pathology and that pattern too, bitch. I ain't showing up for shit. The same motherfucking mouths y'all use to talk shit about this motherfucker with, it's the same motherfucking mouths you're going to activate and employ to say what the fuck y'all grown asses need to say out loud to whom the fuck y'all need to say it to. Y'all don't stand on business, and y'all don't really appreciate it. Y'all use me and use my transparency and use my boldness to live vicariously through when it benefits you. But something I also realize is, when I'm using that same self to challenge you on your bullshit, all of a sudden now, CTV is this, that, and the third. Oh, okay. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do about that. You're on your own, girl. You're on your own, bitch. Since you want to be a hypocrite and you want to be a weirdo, you're on your own, girl. You're on your own. Because you're not going to make me right when it suits you and then make me wrong when it doesn't suit you. When I'm utilizing the same principle, the same energy, the same mindset, the same consciousness that you stand behind when you're in agreement. But then when I turn that same motherfucking psychological and righteous gun on you, now I don't know shit. Now I'm overbearing and I'm over this and I'm over that. You know what I'm over? I'm over you. That's what I'm over. You and your density, you and your inability to face yourself, you and your inability to change and to grow and to take responsibility in what you be helping to co-create. Because if I was going to show up to that family meeting, bitch, I was going to drag from uno to runo, from 1 to motherfucking 100. Oh yeah, you think I would be showing up to go after the master? No ma'am, bitch. I'm going after the fucking slaves too. Because how dare you be in cuffs of your own making and blame somebody else for your captivity? There is no fence around the plantation. And just because it will hurt you and pain you to choose you is not an excuse to not do so. Most situations that are in our best interest are painful. But they don't like this kind of teaching. Nobody wants the accountability conversation. Nobody wants to be honest. And so now what I tell people is, first and foremost, don't tell me what another bitch tells you, because I'm going to bring everybody into the same space together. Because what I realize that happens is that motherfuckers have side conversations and lie to each other and then have you looking a fucking fool. So now I send the memo out. Don't tell me what another bitch said unless you're willing to tell me what that bitch said in front of her face. If you can't be a woman or a man about it and own the fact that I said this and I said that, don't motherfucking tell me about it, because I'm going to put you in the room with that motherfucker. Now, you said what? What had happened? Because, see, I'm always the only person asking for everybody to be in the room together. The motherfuckers want me in the room to challenge only one person and then want to shy away from their role in the situation and then create a bigger situation, because once again, now we got a character issue. Now we got an integrity issue. And I'm going to de-weaponize the whole system by removing myself, because I'm a weapon of mass destruction. And I would rather be a weapon of mass destruction for righteous people. I don't mind being righteously destructive. I don't mind being righteously confrontational. You know, I believe in holy wars, not wars, but holy wars. Yes, power dynamics have to be spoken to. Incorrect power has to be addressed. This is the role of prophetic people. This is the role of light workers. We're not here to be liked. We're not here to be popular. We're here to do the right thing. It's just unfortunate that only a minority of folk are willing to do what's right and willing to address what's right and willing to take personal accountability. So, yeah. I see why he got put up the first time, that part. Right, like you can't put up with him, but you're going to put him in a situation with other people and force us to put up with him. And then ultimately going to cuddle him in a situation where you could have been burying your favorite grandson. Make it make sense. Come on, baby. Come on. My family could have probably all they want. After what they did to me, child, I would never speak to him again. And I haven't. I haven't spoken to him since. When I came back into that situation to continue to care for my grandfather for another 3 years, never spoke to him again. It was almost like he didn't even exist in that house. Don't speak to him. Don't communicate with him. Don't want to communicate with him. Don't have no relationship to him. Have no desire to repair anything I didn't break. I don't even want to understand the evil behind your shit. It was unacceptable behavior. Unacceptable. And no context is going to make me feel any better. You wanted to present yourself as a dangerous person, and you wanted to let me know just how dangerous you're capable of being, and I'm going to receive that. But what you don't know is that this is the part of the storyline where this is irreversible. Because you standing in that and demonstrating that to me at that level is irreversible. There's nothing in me that can unsee that. I can forgive it. I'm not triggered by it, which is why I can talk about it. I could even sit in a conversation and let him apologize for it and ask for my forgiveness for it. And I would give him my forgiveness. But it's never going to be a relationship. And we're never going to speak again. We're never going to have what we had up to that point. My nervous system would never allow me to trust you after you've been that explicitly harmful to me. And I'm going to honor my nervous system. And you helped him move in, brought all of his shit in my Cadillac. Had my shit look like I'm on an episode of Hoarders. Helped him to move his shit out of my grandparents' home. Helped him to unpack his shit and move it into my grandfather's home. You moved around this city with a suspended license and then impersonated me when you got stopped by an officer and gave them my name and information. And then told me that on the day of the hearing, you were going to come and rectify the situation. And then on the day of the hearing, it's only me and my grandmother there at traffic court. Because you're centering yourself and you're scared that they're going to lock you up. I don't give a fuck. This is the consequence of your actions. Had you not been fucking driving, you wouldn't be in the situation to begin with. And you don't get to continue to center and choose yourself in a situation that now has costed some fucking body else, because I'm now down here paying a $450 motherfucking ticket with a fucking points taken off my license, resulting in my own shit being suspended. And now I gotta pay money to unsuspend it on top of pay the motherfucking traffic ticket, all because you are centering yourself. If the consequences of your actions in rectifying this situation by taking accountability leads your ass to being locked up for 30 days and 30 nights, bitch, so be it. I ain't got nothing to do with that. How is it fair to me that I gotta put up with the consequences of your choices? Did I ask you to impersonate me, bitch? Did you call and consent with me? Did you ask me, was it okay, cuz if I get stopped by the police, girl, I give them your name and information, girl, and I got tickets and shit coming to my motherfucking house? Are you okay? And his mama, who used to be my favorite aunt, the same one who I was caretaking my grandfather with, didn't say shit either. But you got everything to say about everybody else in the family. But when it comes to your own child, you don't have nothing to say. Your eye works when it comes to everybody else, but your eye don't work conveniently when it comes to your son and when it comes to you. That doesn't seem to be an eye at all to me. If your eye don't also see your reflection, baby, you don't have an eye. And then to be the narcissist that he is, you mad at me for being mad at you. Bitch, why should I not be mad at you? Why should I be speaking with you? Why should I be acting like we cool? Bitch, I'm a Scorpio. We don't fake shit. If I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. And I don't give a fuck who do to what degree in which they do, bitch. It ain't no rollover effect over here. I don't eat what other people shit, and I don't shit what other people eat. I don't fuck with you based upon my anecdotal experience. I don't give a fuck what another motherfucker want me to do in the situation. Bitch, I don't fuck with you. Now, it's funny that the same people who will ask me to, oh, you know, y'all cousins, y'all whatever, give me all these excuses, girl, to not penalize the motherfucker, are the same motherfuckers who putting him out of their house. You his mama and you put him out. You his grandma and you put him out. Y'all all can react and create boundary and create all this shit. But when the empath says no, we got to be subjected to the peanut gallery trying to convince us into tolerating shit from people that they don't even tolerate shit from. No, ma'am. So you know what that's going to do, bitch? Result in me cutting all you motherfuckers off. Because you don't even maintain continuity with it. Like, girl, what's good for you is good for the gander. Don't you ever dare tell somebody else to do some shit you would never fucking do. Don't you ever dare tell somebody to put up with some shit that you don't even put up with. Don't you ever bring your rabid ass mind and mouth to form an expectation for someone else that you don't even apply to yourself. See, I would better respect these fucking cowards and hypocrites of the world if they at least weren't hypocritical. But you're hypocritical. Got a block list as long as the goddamn food stamp line. Done went no contact on as many motherfuckers as there is a human population on the planet. It'd be one thing if motherfuckers could reinforce and stand on their shit. It's okay for them to cut motherfuckers off. It's okay for them to go ballistic, go crazy, go apocalyptic. It's okay for them to go Dark Phoenix. It's okay for them to have boundaries. It's okay for them. It's okay. Oh, but don't let the empath, bitch. Don't let the empath have a problem with a bitch. And then the gaslighting of huddling up with the empath and agreeing in secret. Yeah, that motherfucker. Yeah, that motherfucker ain't shit. Ain't never gonna be shit. And I know. I agree. I understand. I totally get it. I feel the same way if I was. And then publicly, bitch. When I tell y'all people are psychotic, when I tell y'all people are fucking psychotic, people are psychotic. And all it does is encourage me to be consistent. That's all it does. I make sure that how I feel in public is how the fuck I show up privately too. How I feel in private is how the fuck I show up publicly too. If I agree with a motherfucker privately, I agree with a motherfucker publicly too. Bitch, I'ma stand on it. Because there ain't nobody worthy of lying to. There ain't nobody worthy of me being two-faced too. For what, bitch? I don't care enough about a relationship to you to have to endure two-facedness. I said it, I meant it, and I still like you, bitch, but you are wrong. Period. And I'm not going to support the motherfucker who's reacting to your foolishness, bitch, because you're the reason why they're fucking reacting. Had you not stole, had you not impersonated, had you not popped it, bitch, you wouldn't be experiencing any of the penalties of your actions. But when you're dealing with fallen, weirdo, narcissistic communities and people, they're gaslight the victim in every way. Whether it's the victim of emotional harm, mental harm, reputational harm, sexual harm, it's just how it goes. And hopefully the victim can just wake up one day and realize, you know, what needs to happen and can recognize what is happening, which is why I encourage every single human being who's going through anything, especially on a social level, family, marriage, children, friends, whatever, workplace, cruelty, that you get your ass into therapy. Because a part of being able to break the cycle has to do with you being educated about the cycle. That's a big part of self-liberation, is even understanding what sickness looks like, what gaslighting looks like, what emotional and mental manipulation looks like, what hypocrisy looks like. Culturally, colloquially, and clinically. What that shit looks like in every form and fashion. What it looks like in the context of friendship. What it looks like in the context of familyship. What it looks like in the context of marriage. A lot of people can't break the cycles and be on the wrong side of fucking history and situations because they don't see clearly, because they're not informed properly. They don't even know what they're fully looking at and dealing with. And they come from similar systems of disillusionment themselves. So they end up being more harmful in situations than helpful. That whole go along to get along, I just want y'all to get along. Fuck all that, bitch. I ain't getting along. Getting along requires two consenting adults. How the fuck one bitch gonna get along with a unget along with bitch? How is an integral motherfucker gonna sit in the same line with somebody who lies? with somebody who manipulates, with somebody who says one thing and then privately being messy and doing other shit. It ain't no us. There's not no we. The correct statement is, I wish this motherfucker was a better motherfucker so that it could work collectively. Not, I wish y'all, bitch, ain't no y'all. I'm not impersonating nobody's motherfucking identity. Bitch, this ain't Joanne the scammer over here, ho. I'm not over here leaving nobody for motherfucking dead, bitch. I'm not up here, bitch, speaking non-truths about people, ho. I'm not selling my motherfucking loved ones out, bitch. There ain't no motherfucking we. No, there's a me and there's a them. And if you're clear about right being right and wrong being wrong, your sentiments and your statement should sound in accordance to that. I'm not getting along with nobody who's different from me in principle. Because a lot of people watch motherfuckers be fucked up, and then they're still reduced and summarize shit to being like, oh, well, y'all just different. No, it's not about being different, baby. I'm in very intimate relationships to people who are very different from me. I get along very fine. I get along fine with people who are different from me in personality. Who I don't get along with is people who I'm different from in principle and in ethics. I don't get along with liars. I don't get along with narcissists. I don't get along with people who center themselves. I don't get along with hypocrites. I don't get along with cowards. I don't get along with pussy assholes. I don't, and I won't, and I will never. And I pride myself on separating myself from the wheat and the tare, baby. Okay? I am an adamant believer in being distinctive and being distinguishable. Being in, but not of. Like there being a this and there being a that. And I make those clear delineating lines. And that's why other motherfuckers will continue to go through what they're going through. Not CTV, bitch. Some days are over. Over. I let blind people drive my car. I let cherry picking ass motherfuckers drive my car, and I sat passenger. And once again, when you don't know, you don't know. But when you do, you do. Now I'm lucid, bitch. Now I'm awake. And now I'm taking responsibility for the direction and the trajectory of where things are going. And I'm not going to beg you to drive better. I'm just going to kick your ass out the motherfucking car, bitch, and take control of the goddamn steering wheel. It's my car to begin with. I don't mind letting leaders lead. But when your leadership is incompetent and then you prove yourself to be foolish, bitch, I'm going to be the first one to drop kick you off of the throne. Because you're not bigger than the program. And other people's well-being is on the line. And I learned first and foremost about incompetent leadership by way of being under the incompetent leadership of the elders in my family. There are people who really believe that they are bigger than the program. And they don't care to whose expense, to whose well-being that shit costs. That's okay. You don't have to. I will. And I don't care about who stays in our burning house. Huddle up together, baby, and have a picnic. I don't give a fuck. I'm off to better days. Me, I am. I ain't begging nobody to go with me. I ain't send nobody a text or a phone call or a voice note or anything, girl. I chose to go off and find better days. And just like I'm okay with you staying where you are, be okay with me not staying where you wanted me to be. I'm not pulling you by your teeth in your motherfucking ponytail. I'm pooching on to my promised reality. And I'm never going to change who I am because of these people, because I'm never going to give none of these people the opportunity to say it about me, which is why they can't. They can't. And I now think that I'm experiencing, in some ways, some resentment because of what people can't say about me. I think that I'm experiencing a resentment and a bitterness from people who have consistently fucked up, and they're actually angry at me because I have not. I'm never going to let none of these motherfuckers have that story about me. It's just never going to happen. And nobody wants to be in the same room with CTV on Judgment Day, because everybody knows that their whole card is going to get pulled. Because while y'all were all secretly giving each other edited stories and edited realities and shaving off shit because you weren't strong enough and bold enough to stand in your shit and to own what you did and what you said. Yeah, I get why. I get why. I understand why. Why nobody wants to make good on my request to bring everybody in. Let's turn the light on. Let's turn the light on. Because I'm the only motherfucker who's going to be able to be consistent. You ain't gonna be able to hear one thing from one motherfucker here and then hear a different thing from another motherfucker there. See, I don't end up in these positions because I do everything one motherfucking way. See, I'm not a coward, so I can maintain the continuity of my truth and my posture. There's nobody who can say, I'm talking about how one motherfucker back, because that motherfucker who's back I'm quote unquote talking about, I talk to his fucking face, his or her face. Baby, there is the only person that I fear is the Lord. I don't fear something with an asshole. I don't fear something that gets sick and that's subjected to die. I don't fear something that cries. I don't fear something that gets mad. I don't have no fear when it comes to people. I'm not going to be the scapegoat. I'm not going to be the Trojan horse. I'm not going to participate in the disillusionment. I'm not going to do none of that. Baby, why? I'm too cute. I'm just too cute. CTV, just too cute. CTV, just too cute. CTV, just so cute. And that's why I got a man over here that loves me. And I got friends over here that fucking adore me. And I got a community over here that cherishes me. And so what I got to go back for? What I got to go back for? I was the one doing all the fucking giving, bitch. I don't even have nothing to show from even being entangled with these systems, but a bunch of fucking problems. It costed me, baby. They the ones who gained everything. What is there to desire? You know, and that is what gets me in the worst of Nicki Minaj, is that motherfuckers be thinking so delusionally, thinking so high themselves that they don't even recall, or are aware of the fact that you did not provide anything for there to be a desire to begin with. There's nothing attractive about you. Bitch, I was the one pulling the carriage. One of the youngest people in the family, taking on one of the hardest positions and most responsible positions. And it costed me my fiance. Because me and my fiance were in the process of relocating and moving into our home together. And I chose to put that on pause in order to provide a service for my grandparents who I love. And just to think that I did that for people who would have cuddled the person that left me for fucking dead while I was actively in service to my grandparents. I was young in my 30s. I was supposed to be doing what every other young person was doing at my age. Living my life, choosing myself, bitch. Leave this to the elders, girl. This man got how many children? Let one of his children, girl, come wipe his ass and feed him and pray for him and shave him and cut his hair and bathe him every day and night, and put up with the dementia and the bouts of anger and depression and all the things that come when somebody's neurological pathways are disintegrating. I could have and should have thought what every other young person did in my family. Baby, I'm supposed to be out popping pussy, married, living off the hog, being taken care of like the king and queen that I am. And here it was, I'm doing fucking slave labor for pennies on a dollar out of love. This is a passion project. And this is the thanks that I get. This is the thanks that I get for putting these bitches on. This is how I get treated. And then for these systems to know, bitch, that you can't find no other bitch. Because greatest is amongst you are those who serve you. My God, today. My God, to be so dense and so detached from reality and so disassociated that you would actually forget your MVPs. That you would actually openly sabotage your MVPs. Baby, that is a level of psychosis that I never want to know personally. Baby, that is a level of self-sabotage I never want to know personally. Baby, that is a level of anti-humanism that I never want to ever be and demonstrate and reflect ever. To be that stupid and that unwise. And to still be living a shit show while I'm over here, girl, not opening the door for you niggas and not answering the phone for you niggas and girl, have gone on, girl, into the glow. But this is the place that I was trying to take them. This is the place I was making space in the wagon. But nobody wanted to do the work. Every time I would encourage my family, hey, you know, I'm an empath. So, of course, y'all tell me everything that y'all don't tell each other. So then I take that information and try to encourage everybody to come to a center. But then y'all become so discouraged. Oh, no, it's no bother in doing it. It's no bother. It's just going to lead to an argument. Do you realize that sometimes, bitch, argument is the way to healthiness? Y'all so scared of the initial sensitivity and fragility of the situation that you can't even see the forest for the motherfucking trees. Of course, this isn't going to be fucking poetic. Of course, having hard conversation is not romantic. It's difficult. People's egos are going to get aroused. People's defense mechanisms are going to get activated. Of course, you have to know that and expect that. You're already dealing with unwell people. But if you love each other, why not commit and take those chances any motherfucking way? Why not give each other a chance rather than continuing to make assumptions about each other? Because you're not doing anything useful with the way y'all feel. Y'all just secretly hating on each other and contentious with each other, and then slapping lipstick on bruises and scars. And then in situations where we need to be completely functional as a collective, we can't be because of all this shit y'all want sit on the table and address out loud. And then we sitting here with all the resources in the world, and y'all call yourself Christian people, and y'all say y'all love each other, and y'all act like we can't actually employ a therapist and a psychiatrist to come into this shit to help mediate the family drama so that we can get to some resolve, since we all do agree that we want to have a type of unison. But if we're struggling to provide that with our own resources, why don't we come together, throw money into a pot, bitch, and sit down with a family therapist and put somebody in between all of this shit that can help us to move and to heal and to transcend certain things? We're just not doing all that can be fucking done. On top of all the weird ass assumptions y'all make about each other, but still huddled up the fuck together, and then can see the wall we keep running into and still have no incentive to either just get out of the fucking way or to be interested in hammering away at the motherfucking wall. But want to sit in a situation and just complain and be hurt and be frustrated. Like, I can't deal with all that shit. That's why I say in a previous commentary, like, I'm not like my family. I don't sweep shit under the rug. I'm not scared of the boogeyman in the closet, bitch. Open that motherfucker wide open, girl. Let's talk about it. Let's deal with it. I'm not fear-based like that. I'm not scared of the confrontation. They do. They want to put shit in a treasure chest and bury it into the depths of the ocean, even though the waves keep throwing that shit onto the shoreline. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Every time you throw it away, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And that's why I ain't mad about it. I ain't mad about it. Never retaliated on them people. Never went in and got my lick back. No, nothing. Why? I was being blessed. Because I was doing the work that was leading me to the best version of my life. And the best keeps unfolding and unfolding and unfolding and unfolding. And I'm loving that for me. I'm loving that for me. I used to be so deeply attached and invested into where everybody else would end up. And I used to want it more than other people did. I used to want what was best for them more than they did. I have let all of that go, baby. I'm not worried about you. I'm not worried. I don't even care. I mean, ugh. I hate to say that, but I would be lying. I don't even care. It's sad, but look, we all get to choose our path. And when you double down in your nearsightedness and your farsightedness, then baby, as far as I'm concerned, you're telling me that this is the way you want it. So what the fuck am I going to feel sorry for you for? You're getting exactly what you want. So, you know, I used to drag people against their will. Oh, yes. You know what's so funny? You know what people can say about me? What people can say about me is when people mean like if somebody says CTV is overbearing. Yes, CTV is overbearing because I'm the person who sees you drunk behind the wheel of the car and I jump in and I fight with you about putting this motherfucker in park. Yeah, overbearing, bitch. I used to fight with you about your shit. Oh, yes, I would. When my friends got up here and said, girl, CTV is not for the faint of heart. I'm talking about my actual friends got up here and said, girl, CTV is not for the faint of heart. Yeah. And if you're not mature enough to acknowledge that you were drunk behind the wheel, but want to focus on how I fought with you to get from behind the wheel while you are drunk, then you're going to interpret me as the bad guy in a situation like that. Yeah. If you a self-mutilator and you're cutting yourself, aka being a repeat offender, doing the same shit over and over and over and over again, despite it continuously costing you and other people, yeah, I fight with you about the knife in your fucking hand. Yes, I throw you to the fucking ground. Yes. I don't care if you're mad at me because I'd rather you be okay than not okay because you didn't have somebody who could challenge you to make a healthier choice. And if me fighting for your well-being makes me the bad guy, but in exchange, you got to be better, I'm okay with you being mad at me. I'm okay with the family ship, the friendship, the romantic ship being lost in the translation because I am not bigger than the program either. And if I got to be a sacrificial lamb in that way, then I will be. But you know what? I've stopped doing that too. You in there cutting yourself, girl, I ask you, are you okay? Yeah. You sure you okay? Because it's a lot of blood. Yeah, I'm okay. Oh, okay. I mean, metaphorically speaking, of course. All that shit is over. If you need to hurt yourself, or you don't want to address how you're hurting yourself, or you don't want to address how you're hurting other people, baby, I'm no longer the person that's going to fight with you about that. I'm just going to choose away from that. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to choose away from it. Yeah. I'm not fighting with nobody about nothing. I'm not explaining myself to nobody. I don't care about your understanding. I don't even give a fuck about your experience. Because the people who are telling me certain things are liars and hypocrites and disillusioned and weirdos, and you don't have the type of integrity that would warrant me to even entertain your version of anything. And that's why I had to walk away from my family. The disillusionment, the abandonment, and then the audacity to be mad at the reaction to the foolishness. Like, insane. Insane. So, yes, sometimes the psychiatric ward will be your family. Sometimes the psychiatric ward will be your friends. Sometimes the psychiatric ward will be your marriage. Okay? Like, sometimes these things will be the psychiatric ward, and all you can do is wake up to that and choose away from that. Right. Need something to say and say you wrong too. Exactly. Like, especially when people don't got shit on you. The people who be the most secretly mad at you are the people who don't got shit on you. They literally be mad. So even if they have to invent an issue to make you wrong again, that's how committed they are to their egotism. And that's sad for them. And you don't have to participate in that. I would have gotten licks back probably a mess. I find that people who just continue to complain don't really want a solution. They just want to complain. Yep. And hey, you know, and you learn to respect that. You know what? Like, I love that for you, baby. I love that for you, not for me. You don't want to do nothing about that? You want to circle the block 12,000 motherfucking times in a day? Baby, but hey, have at it. Have at it. Have at it. Long as you ain't trying to pull me into that vortex of chaos with you, baby, do what you need to do. But baby, no. Don't seek no type of companionship in your craziness. Thank you. And they might have chosen you because they didn't really want to do it. Well, of course, that much was clear. Everybody else was too bougie. See, my family, especially at the point that my grandfather got sick, like, people didn't want to do the hard shit. But I have found that to be generally the case for society in general. People want to do the easy stuff. Oh, you know, I'll bring flowers every now and again. I'll come and see daddy every now and again. You know, he needs some diapers. He needs some new socks. People want to do the easy shit. The people who are willing to get their hands dirty are very few and far in between. That's why the scriptures say the field is plentiful, but the laborers are few. People will sign up to do the easy shit. The way I'm built, and the kind of person that God created me to be is I'm not scared of the real work. I'm not scared of the real labor in a situation. I will labor in love. I will labor in effort. I don't look at the situation and see, okay, girl, what's the least I can do, bitch? What's the least I can do so I can make it look like I give a damn? You know, just enough to make it appear that I give a fuck, while ultimately, you know, not having to sacrifice or go out of my way or inconvenience myself in any kind of way. No, that's not me. I'm going to, my natural Scorpio tendency is to look at the core of the thing and to go into that core, to go into the Earth's core, to correct the weather patterns, to correct the atmospheric issues. But the people who are willing to sign up for the tough part of the cookie, the tough part of the journey, that's not the popular. That's not the majority. That is a minority and a particular kind of person that does that. They want healing as long as it's easy. They want to help as long as it's easy. Long as it don't cost them nothing, long as they don't get scarred or bruised or dirty or filthy in the process. Sure, sign me up. And there's just some situations by nature where you're going to be scarred, bruised, dirty, and filthy by nature. But the balance in that is that the people that you at least do that for are reciprocating as well, and they're in that with you, and y'all are going to take care of each other. So ultimately, the scars, the bruising, and all of that shit heals, and that stuff gets washed away. But the only time that there's injuries is because people be take. And it's like, girl, I didn't even mind getting scarred. I didn't even mind getting bruised. I didn't even mind getting bloody. I didn't even mind jumping in. I didn't even mind doing what was asking me to do. The problem was you lied, you looked out for yourself, you used me, and then you ultimately thought only of yourself while putting me under the impression that we were in this together. It's not being sacrificial that's the hard part. Most strong people and alpha individuals can remain that way if they were a part of systems and people who understood that they need to do their part too, to keep shit from being internalized and to keep ecosystems from being offset. You know, back in the old, you would resurrect statues and museums in honor of those who served you, who served their community. There was great honor and notoriety and revere for those who made the sacrifice and those who did what they didn't have to, and those who did what they were asked to and did it well. There was great revere. Now, motherfuckers will take all that they can from you and then act like you the problem or that you don't fucking exist. This is really a shit society. It's a shit generation in some sense. Never seen nothing like it. The way that light and love people are treated and mishandled while it's the world that needs them. Look, I understand now why shit be going down. Because it really be karma. I understand why the people who you tried to save don't end up saved and they don't end up any better. That's their karma. That's their karma. They just reinforce the karma that was already there before you entered into the group chat, and then the fact that they had to nerve to trollop and stampede all over you just reinforces the emotional and spiritual chains that already were present, that they were crying aloud wanting freedom from. So I don't be worried about other people at this point. The people that wanted to do better are doing better. The people that wanted more for themselves are choosing better for themselves. Good people have started to go quiet and are just moving now. They're just moving in silence, moving happily, moving peacefully. The days of making noise and rusing up and throwing shit about because you're fed up, good people are not performing anger anymore. Maybe they're just quietly transitioning, quietly migrating, softly leaving. And I love that for us. Oh, I love that for us, baby. I love that we ain't beaten. And we ain't lying anymore either. I'm not lying for nobody. Because that ain't served me either. What liars do is use you protecting their ego. They use that as a way to further their disillusionment and don't realize that it's protectiveness and don't realize that it's compassion. So then you have to be like, oh, okay, well, damn, bitch, I can't even spare you from your ego. So now I just got to stand in the polarizing truth, and your fragile ass ego is not going to be able to handle that. And that's also your issue. And it just is what the fuck it is. And you know what I appreciate my family for doing too? Because my family, they follow me. They watch my content. Over all the conversations that I've had over the past few days, nobody said that they were mad at me for sharing my experience. And I wish they would have, because I would have gave them the motherfucking work. If they had the motherfucking gall to have an issue with me sharing my motherfucking experience, while you motherfucking niggas are the ones who dropped the ball and admitted to have dropping the ball, and then want to be mad at the reaction and reality that you created as a result of dropping the ball. Yeah. Shout out to them. None of them ever said, you know what? I'm pissed that you were open about your experience. Nobody said that. I appreciate them for not gaslighting me that way. I appreciate them for sticking to the plot. And the plot is, we created this, we co-created this, and hell, you were even gracious in the way you spoke about it, because you ain't even put no address on it, because, you know, I have family on all sides. And you simply spoke your experience. You weren't being malicious. You weren't being evil. You never mistreated us because you were upset. You just got out of the way. I appreciate them for not making a bad situation worse by trying to be psychologically and emotionally manipulative, by finding a fake way to be a victim and a fake way to be mad, just so that they can deflect ultimately for what is even happening between us to begin with. Because the truth is, it's my fucking experience. And if I want to put it in a book, or I want to tell it to Fox, or I want to tell it to Gail, or sit down with motherfucking Oprah, or make it into a Lifetime movie, I can. I don't need nobody's permission to talk about my experience. And what I take pride in is the fact that, as hurt as I have been when it comes to my family, or when it comes to people and relationships, I still never said all that I can motherfucking say. And that is a day and a moment that I hope nobody puts me in, because the Lord knows it will pain my heart to have to tell it all. But bitch, I will. And I would do it in a way that only a Scorpio can and will. And I will be the victor. That is absolutely for fucking certain. But luckily, I'm not put in them situations, because deep down, people know that they're fucking fucked up and they know they're fucking wrong. And that's enough. And I'm glad that they leave it at that. Even the people that have not taken no kind of accountability, no responsibility for what they've done, I'm glad that they have just left it at just that, girl. Like, I ain't even going, I ain't even. So shout out to them for not trying to deflect or find something contrary to latch on to, and they were willing to sit in the, hey, you know, I fucked up. And you did. And thank you for acknowledging that. Thank you for admitting to that. I'm glad you're at a place where you can say that and you can own that. And sometimes hindsight is 2020. People don't realize today what they will 10 years from now. But luckily, I never needed the apology. So the apology has been had. And what happens now, I guess only the Lord knows. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to force anything. I'm just going to, I'm just going to let it be. I'm not going to try. I just, that's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to try. I'm just going to live my life. And if I ever want to be socially entangled with them again, I will. More than likely, I won't ever again, because I still don't have that sensation and I still don't have that impulse. I'm 40. I turned 40 last November. I have spent my whole life up until 38 years of age being in a boat with other indoctrinated people who deflected and denied their shadow work. The past 2 years of my life, I have been afforded the opportunity to finally see some of the results of the work that I've been doing and my ability to advocate for myself, even when nobody else was willing to. And me and the results of me being disciplined and not going back, and me forging ahead, and me growing from what I have been through and improving and doubling down on my love and being more discerning about who gets to receive that. I'm just now starting to see a lot of the results of that. And I'm staying in this place because I'm new to this side of the tracks. I'm new to the promised land. I haven't been here long enough. I'm just getting started here. I'm just pitching a tent here. I'm just getting here. And I'm going to need about just as much time here as I spent in the other place, on the other side of the moon. I'm still learning what it means to be here and enjoying the space and figuring out and experiencing all of the, all of the vibes, all of the energy of well-being. I don't want to be close to another fucked up person again, and I don't care if they're my family. I don't want to be in close proximity ever again. I don't. Life is literally too short, and none of them are worth it. None of them are worth it. I've decolonized all that shit in my brain about family thicker than this and that. I don't care about what title you give to a motherfucker. You ain't worth my peace of mind. You're not worth. I'm not going to sell my soul for you. I'm not going to be the only person in the relationship amputating themselves while you get to live your best life and reap the full benefits of me, while I'm sitting over here as an amputee, constantly sacrificing myself so that you can be okay and that not be reciprocated. I'm regenerating my limbs. I am reclaiming my time, in the words of Maxine Waters, and I'm here to stay in this place. And I am going to be the villain in other people's stories because I'm leaving systems. And I'm not coddling people's egos anymore. And I'm standing on business. And I'm okay with broken people making me the bad guy because I know who's making me the bad guy. Their perception is reality. Enjoy that. Because no matter what you say or what you do, I'm not coming back down. You will have to come up. I'm not coming back down. So I love them for their apology. I appreciate that, but they're still messy and they still got a lot of bullshit going on. So they're still not well. And I'm not going to come down just because they apologize. I'll be up here. If they ever want to raise their vibration, and if they ever want to choose a better reality, and if they ever want to ascend, I'm already up here. So so I'll be here when they get here, if they ever get here. But I'm not coming down to party with them. I'm not coming down to shuck and jive with them because they're not better. So I'll be up here with my clan, and If I see some of them along the way and they end up here too in the outer atmosphere orbiting the planet of insanity, then I will lock hands with them and we'll go forth and we'll be mutually great to each other. But I'm definitely not coming the fuck down. Thank you so much, media. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I just wanted to tell you guys why I've been missing for the past 2 days, but well, for the past 3 or 4 days. I've really been enjoying my time with my brother, my younger brother, and my niece. It's just been so good and so beautiful. And I'm appreciative of the conversations that I've been having with other relatives who I have not been in a relationship to this entire time. And you guys leave your statements and comments because I missed a lot of comments and a lot of feedback by not looking at the chat so I can maintain the continuity of my thoughts. But please leave them below if you've been in situations, if you've had to transition out of marriages, romantic relationships, or family ships or communities, and how you've processed betrayal. And what do you do with apologies when it comes to betrayal? Do you realign with the relationship? If you do realign with the relationship, what does that look like for you? How do you approach repairing very broken relationships? Tell me all about it. Tell me all about it, child. Don't forget to thumbs up, share, subscribe, tell a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. I hope this blessed somebody. And of course, as my moderator has put up on the screen, you can always donate to the platform on Cash App at $ConsciouzTv and or PayPal.me/ConsciouzTV. You can email me, you can follow me on Patreon and do all the things. And shout out to, hold on, I think I got another donation. Shout out to my baby mother, Sam, for the old nasty piece of child support check. Thank you, baby. Oh, this says from yesterday. I didn't even know this was here. Keep the great content coming. #lunch money. Thank you, baby mother. And shout out to my baby mother, Miss Mata, for boo. I am so sorry. Oh, thank you for the voice of reason. But it's nothing to be sorry for. Everything that happened to me transformed me for the better. And I do not regret it. If I knew that if I could do it all over again, knowing how positively transformative all of that shit I was going to go through was going to be, I would do it all over again. Because I'm also very clear that I could not have gotten here without all of that. All of that was the building blocks and the stepping stones to my self-clarity, and was the stepping stones to who I am. And I've said this in another live stream, and I'm going to double down and say it again. There are a lot of people who are going to think that I have changed. And I have in that relationship. There are a lot of people who won't have that type of emotional access to me and mental access to me, and won't have those type of benefits from me because they're not worthy and don't deserve that. But I want to be clear. There are people who are getting all of that from me. I'm never going to punish people who deserve certain things from me because of what people who don't deserve shit from me have done to me. I'm not that kind of person to where if I experience hurt over here, they're just going to bleed over into, my experience of people who've been good to me. It's never going to happen, baby, because I don't like when it happens to me. I don't like it when other motherfuckers go through shit and then they want to take it out on you, and they want to close up and turtle up and shell up. And it's like, bitch, no. I ain't been working 27 motherfucking years to make this relationship great. Just for some other bitch you don't went through some shit with to do you wrong, and now you want to penalize. Oh, no. It don't work that way. So I have changed. Oh, yes, I have. But I've changed to whom I've needed to change towards, and I've changed for the better toward those who are changing for the better for themselves and for their community's sake as well. So, as the scripture say, girl, I'm giving every man his measure and according to his capacity. Oh, yes, I am. I am probably in the prime again of the work in my life, and I'm proud of it. And I share it with you all because I want you guys to have a framework for what it looks like. And I want you guys to know that you're not alone. And I want you guys to know that trial and tribulation can turn into triumph and victory. And I want to encourage y'all to keep pushing through and to trust your intuition and to vote for your wellness and to know that spirit is with you and life is truly good if you allow it to be and if you commit to it being that way. So shout out to all of you all and have a wonderful Wednesday, and thumbs up the platform and share with a friend, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.